Hi everyone, I'm back. Did you miss me? I really appreciate everyone here right now and still listening to my music and my silly weekly stuff. But I also appreciate the flux of support that happened in the last time I was on camera. And yeah, that was really cool. And one thing that people were noting was hey, this person's wearing a mask. Why is he wearing a mask? And that's a really good question. Another thing I picked up was that people really liked flower picking. And that was really nice to hear from someone that really kind of cares about the song and someone that has put a lot of work into making this kind of song and thought I'm kind of doing this completely for myself and no one else is going to really like the sound. But it was really pleasant to see everyone kind of vibing with it. And people wanted a little bit of a breakdown, just a couple of people. So to those couple of people, hello, this is for you. And let's nerd out. I can't wait to nerd out with you. Let's get into this. So let's talk about the song itself in terms of the lyrical content and the meaning and all that stuff. I'm a little scared to open my notepad that I had here. I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's okay. It's just the lyrics. So as you can see in the sort of very bottom right here that I'm gonna highlight, these are sort of the inspirations I take when I make music. So these are sort of like clusters of inspirations that sort of develop as I'm making the music, and I notice and catch myself drawing inspiration from these artists or certain albums or certain songs. Or it's a very conscious thing. For this case, it was what was most conscious was Kureka for sure. The rest sort of came together as I was like noting like, oh, this is kind of this style of music, or it's this kind of it's a la this artist. And that was really interesting. So if you care about any of these artists, this is kind of where I've taken inspiration from. So we have the microphones, we have Minari, which is a movie, um, and it has a nice soundtrack that got popular on social media. It's a really good movie, and I think the song that got popular is called Jacob and the Stone. I might be wrong. There's also Jane Remover and Kureka, obviously, but Jane Remover is a really cool person as well, a very wonderful artist. And yeah, I took a lot of the vocal stylings from Jane Remover, especially in like the later or sort of like middle end of this middle end and sort of the middle section of the song. And Frank Ocean sort of generating this atmosphere, also a lot of like kind of ad-libbing. Okay, anyway, so those are the inspirations. Minari is sort of the starting point of this. If you listen to Jacob the Stone or whatever that song is called, it has a very simple plagal cadence that just descends down. If you don't know what that is, it's just like a 4 to 1 or an F to C, an F to C, an F to C, and it just descends from lower octaves. And I really love the plagal cadence. I love the 1/4 progression so much. It's literally in like basically all my music. It's so simple and it brings so much emotion. Uh, and yeah, so this is kind of the Minari inspired progression. And it just descends. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's hitting. That is hitting. Okay, cool. Now I do want to talk about the lyrical material before I just got distracted from the inspirations at the bottom. The lyrics are very sad. This is probably my saddest song. And it sort of speaks to a someone that I had a very close relationship with in my life. And it sort of captures that very strange moment in your life where there's a lot of mixed emotions bubbling up as you see this person that is now a part of your history and it fills you up with all the memories and puts you in that place where you were with them. And I sort of wanted to capture that in a musical, on a musical level, but also a lyrical level. So we have, hey, you seem familiar. Have we met? That's right. That's right. Our eyes met before we did. And then I like this bouncing awkwardly. So we both look to the sky, and it sort of captures the level of awkwardness that is both present in the moment where you meet them for the very first time, and this time where you're seeing them as a person that was just once a part of you and no longer is now. You don't want to look, but you do want to look, and it's like there's a lot of complicated feelings that come with this very particular moment. My eyes strained, I cry. Why did I think we'd be better off? That you'd be better off with me? Now, this is this idea of like guilt, the same guilt that has seeped in, that was in the relationship is now seeping back in the present now as you're seeing this person that was in your past. Being in a relationship is sort of holding someone hostage in a way. And that's a really dark way of looking at a relationship, but it was a real way of how I looked at it at some point. Like getting into a relationship with someone is a selfish endeavor. The more I spend time with them, the more likely I am to hurt you and to keep hurting you. It's like me picking a flower out of the ground, and it was perfectly fine where it was, but I picked it because I wanted it, and now am just letting it die in my arms. The more I hold it, because the more I get into a relationship, the more I hurt the person. So yeah, that is why it's a little sad of a song. But yeah, so that's the sort of overarching message. And I hope this sort of resonated with people or captured it. Actually, I actually don't hope it resonated with people, but I hope you understood me. Okay, so let's get into the production. Oh my God, it's production time. It's production time, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, so this starts very slowly, very quietly. A lot of my layers are automated here, except for a couple. So we have my vocals. You seem familiar. So, as you can hear, very little processing in the vocal. Someone was asking me for the vocal chain. It is, there is not much going on here. I'm on GarageBand, for goodness sake. So, as you can see, all there is here is an EQ and this sort of basic setup here. I got a little bit of ambience in the vocal, um, just enough to sort of give it a little space, but I still want it to feel very contained and claustrophobic. So there's no reverb or anything in this. In terms of the EQ, that's the EQ. That's the whole EQ. I just raised the highest one. Very simple. I want it to sound very homemade because I'm trying to capture a very intimate moment, and sonically, I want to reflect that, and vocally, I want to reflect that. So that's why I'm very quiet in the beginning. Yeah, that's coupled with this cool sound. This is my tape mellow filter. I don't know if you can see this, but this is a tape mellow filter by Arturio. I got it for free on a random day. It was free. Now I don't think it's free, but it's been the GOAT plugin, and I've been using it pretty much on most, if not all of the instrumental tracks here. So yeah, there's that, and also a towel filter, which sort of helps pan it left to right, but in a but automated. So it sort of wavers left and right, but I've turned it down enough so it like is a lot more subtle. So you can pick it up, but so that's with it. This is without, right? It's a lot more mono. And this is the bass. Very simple bass, just a pick bass, with a compressor and a bass amp, which I didn't do much to. And this is the EQ for it. It's pretty straightforward as well. I don't do too much complicated stuff, as you can tell. But yeah, so let's move on really quick.
Our eyes
Staying
met
a little bit.
before.
Oh, here's the organ, sorry. But this is a cheap organ, and I've added a nice EQ on this. I just sort of cut the high and low as much as I could. Um, and yeah, I just moved the cutoff, a little oscillation on it, and it sounds cool. I'm pretty happy with it. It's a very simple sound. I just needed a simple sound to sort of play a very longing, sustained note.
Our
It sort of sits
eyes
there as a
met
drone in the
before
background.
we
Um, which I've been sort of obsessing over for a little bit now. This idea of like a musical drone that sits on top of your track and carries the song, but also allows all these ideas to have some sort of through line, and the idea of like having progressions underneath the drone is so beautiful. I love just having a sustained like thing on top of a bunch of stuff. It really makes so much musical sense to me when it's done, and I love it. And I've been hearing it so much in a lot of new music, but also very, very traditional music, like Scottish bagpipes and a lot of Tibetan music, and it's gorgeous. And I'm so glad it's on a little bit of a comeback right now, especially in the folk scene. Okay, so this is the organ here again. I've sort of added like a secondary drone to this. I've pitched it down one octave, and yeah, now it's carrying a little bit of a distortion, just as a natural effect of me moving it down an octave. This is also here another drone. That's going to get really annoying, but if you hear it in context, it's wonderful. Ooh, so you have this guitar going. By contact. This is my kind of main instrument I've been using for a while. As you can hear, there's a little bit of echo on that, a lot of reverb and feedback. Not much treatment to it other than an echo. And now I've introduced Parallel's guitar, and I love Parallel's guitars. So, yeah, my dear friend here some tracks down, and it's really, really low, so it's very hard to hear. But it just adds texture to the song. And that's all I needed it to do until it demands more of itself later. But yeah, that's all it's doing. It's just making some noise in the back.
so I cry.
Now these vocals have a lot more ambience and reverb to them. And just to sort of match the energy of the instrumental that it's entering. So
My eyes strained.
yeah, I'm a little off key and everything, but it's okay. Hold on. Hold on. New sound alert. New sound alert. Okay, we got this one first. Oh yeah. Oh, that's a little spooky. That's just to lead up to this sound, sort of as a transition point to move into this weird stutter. And this is gonna do a lot of heavy lifting for the Sonics. And I think I'm just playing this on my MIDI, just like stuttering my hands over the keyboard. And yeah, it's great. It's very organic. It feels great. I love this silly lead. It's called But I Made This Lead. And I just put it again my tape mellow lo-fi filter thing on it. I also put a codec. The codec is a really cool distortion tool. And it sort of clips things a little bit and Um, you can change the bit rate of the sound to make it crunch a little more, but also move it in a direction that feels like very contained and vintage. And this beautiful sound from the test tone oscillator lead. Oh yeah. I like how plucky it is. I like how much it just bends in its pitch because of the tape mellow-fi. That's really fun. One of my favorite sounds in this um song. It really like carries itself quite nicely and it almost acts as like a harp in the song. Because even if it's very plucky within the whole mix, it sounds very gentle. So you got this pretty bass line. And as you can hear, my vocals are very high in the mix. They're very present, very close to you. But you can feel it sort of distancing itself as I include more ambience in the vocals and as I'm adding more layers. And I really like that. I really like that progression. You got the piano here. A little bit of this stutter. Texture, texture, it's all texture. Oh yeah. And now we have this cool os like pitch effect here. Oh yeah, it's fun. So yeah, this is the I'm gonna remove all the filters. It's just a very simple like plucky synth. I added this tape mellify as always, and I really cranked up the wow on that and the flutter and just oh yeah, it's fun, it's fun. I just added an echo so it really like extends itself longer. Yeah, that's fun. That's a very fun sound. And yeah, it's just here. Sort of to induce like a swelling effect. And yeah, we got some cool harmonies going on, huh? Some pretty beautiful stuff here. Thanks to reverb. Yeah, let's hear that. Let's hear all this. That's fun. It's very like discordant. It's a little eerie and strange, but I kind of like that it's unsettling, that because the person in the lyrical content, me, is unsettled and uneased by the reality that they're facing and that they're sort of diving back into as they reminisce. But yeah, these sort of harmonies sort of exist as a response to the call of why did I? It's not an answer. It's just a more longing. You're so I'm met with more longing the more I ask and question my own actions. This is that. Why did I? Response. It's cool. That's sort of like the thesis of the song here, right? Like picked you up like a flower. I can't just put you back. Um, and I think making that sort of the highest note technically in the song, at least vocally, is helpful to highlight that. So that's why it's like that. So now we've really introduced parallel guitars, and it's really distorted now. I've added a bunch of distortion, and oh yeah, oh yeah. So we've got two layers here, right? So we have the upper and lower. That's that, and then we have this here, lower octave layer. really producing a growl and really adding body to a track. So that's fun. And it feels like a sort of like warning of like what is to come in the song without really, while still making it pretty surprising and satisfying. Harmonies here. It's pretty jerky. Breath here.
Just put your back,
It's cool. I like this like matching harmony here.
put your back.
Feels very Jane Remover. That was kind of the very Jane Remover vocal style there.
Just put your back.
Very light, but feels cathartic.
I can leave you. I can leave you.
Okay, so some cool sounds going on. It's getting a little more hectic and chaotic right now. This simple stutter has started adding more notes. More notes are getting unlocked. And as we move into it, it's becoming more arpeggiated and harmonic. So that's really cool. So building that complexity and not just adding more sounds the more I want to build up has been really helpful in making making the sound feel big, but still with a level of restraint and making sure the viewer, the listener is not taken out of the experience just because one new sound is introduced, right? I'm trying to make the swelling and the buildup as organic as possible until it isn't. These harps that are now sort of becoming more and more frantic, and I'm sort of pushing the modulation wheel on my MIDI as I'm playing these. And it's getting higher and stranger and jazzier. That's really nice. And it's pairing really well with the other sounds.
So I want you
Now you
to
can hear that
die.
really hits hard. And it's scary.
And I want you to die.
Oh my God, sorry. Okay, let's break that down. Um, so new sound alert. Check this out. Oh yeah. Well, it's the same synth piano. Again, I'm trying not to surprise anyone too much with the strangeness of the sounds because it's already strange. So I'm gonna try and keep the same timbre, but I'm gonna change sort of the harmonic aspects of it by making it a lot more, by including a lot more wow in it and changing the rhythm of how it's being played.
So I want
And
you
yeah,
to
this is sort of acts as
die.
like part of the build-up. And that sounds very like mechanic and this feels like there's so much machinery included the second this very distorted guitar comes on. And that's not necessarily Parallel's guitar. Parallel's guitars are here. They're still very distorted, but they're not the source of the most like insane sounds. It's coming from this default hard rock guitar from GarageBand, and I've just added a metric ton of filtering to it. So first we have Space D, we have the Space Designer on this just to really give it some scale. Okay, let's turn all of this off. This is what it really sounds like. Yikes. Okay, let's add Space D. Let's. Okay, sounds better. There's a little more space to it now. Let's add a delay. And there's a little more space there. And now let's add this pedal board. On this pedal board, I have the fuzz and an echo. So let's play the echo first. So I have like basically like two echoes and well, one echo, one delay, and a space designer, really just to make the space, but it's not really doing that much. We're gonna add this amp designer where I really cranked it up a little bit. So there's two amps on this. And now Now we feel that. Now we're starting to hear the distortion, the grunge of it all. There's that. And I'm gonna add some chorus to it. Actually, no. Let's hear the chorus. I think in the final case, I ended up removing this. And then I'm gonna shut everything down so we can really get this impact going. So I'm not just gonna build like a shoegaze song and just get it to build and build and build and build and then drums. I need a stopping point. I need a stopping point a la like break-ins, a la like Jane Remover, where there's just like a like a digital break between the sections that allows that those drums to really hit. So that's what all this is. You see these gaps here between here and here and here, and even on automation, even those things that don't look like they're gaps, the volume is turned down for all of them. So there's this very perfect silence that just stands, and it's just me. It's just the vocals, and then boom, it just explodes. So that's how we get that level of impact on the drop for this song in particular. So let's kind of hear that again.
So I watch you die,
I'm gonna turn it down.
and I watch you die.
Oh, that's fun. I have these two drums here, big snare hits, just to tell you it's happening. And then it explodes. So these are snares and they borrow from the same drum kit here. It's just retro rock from GarageBand. And I just put a bunch of distortion on it. So I yeah, there's distortion 2 on it. I also put Filtron's wider, which sort of moves the. I actually don't know what it does, but it makes the sound feel bigger by doing something with panning. Um, and you can hear that the kick drum is on every beat, basically. It's sort of just really allowing the song to like chug through and really feel like the sort of seething energy coming from the rest of the instrumental track. Anyways, I'm not gonna force you to listen to those drums much longer. And then I've distorted a lot of stuff, but I've distorted the bass here. Now there's really some body to the track. And this is sort of the highlighting sound of it, which is weird. Like this is one of the key sounds you hear, but it's a bass. I think bass has like a really strong sound when you put it up on a higher register. And to distort it, you really get a little bit of the feedback that you would get on a guitar, but it feels a little scarier on a bass. So that's why I did it there. Yeah, that's nice. Um, Organ still floating, but it's cool, right? Because we started here. I think that's nice. I like how there's like a through line, even though it feels very sudden. And this is what we're kind of going for here, where it's just like we're trying to generate a lot of sounds that are that are making the music bigger and bigger. But I'm not trying to be additive about it. I'm trying to provide it like a coherent experience. So that's what the reasoning is for just having this. And you see it, it's kind of beautiful to see it go from this place to here. So that's nice. I like that. And this is a very gradual song. So I like seeing those gradations. Gradations? I don't know, man. I don't know how to speak anymore. Okay, more organ stuff, very distorted. Yep, that's just going. Oops, sorry. And then we have another organ sound, like a really high tone, just to really play like an overtone for main like note, the dum, um, just to really make it feel like it's resonating. Uh, this is a very nice, simple synth sound that just gets buried in the mix, but I added it to fill out the body because it sounded a little hollow when I was playing it back to myself. You can really feel the emptiness when I take it out, right? So versus it adds quite a bit, and you don't even know it's there. So that's really cool. Um, oh, what else we got? More bass sounds going. Sorry, that's a repeat. My bad. Okay. Drums are very simple, unquantized. This is sort of going off the rails now. It's no longer following the metronome. Yeah, it's not following anything. But I just want it to feel a little manic, so that's why it's out of its pocket. And now there's this harp, this beautiful gentle harp that we started with has now become a lot more shrill, and I think that's really cool. And this is the thing, there's a lot of high-end stuff because there's so much distortion and because of that, there's a lot of low end. And so I have to sort of match that to sort of balance out the sound. Okay. And yeah, we have this rock guitar, the stock rock guitar with a bunch of plugins on it. Really doing its heavy lifting now. A little bit of a counter melody. Oop. Yeah, that's fun. Uh, we have this, just a very, very gradual cymbal riser just to like lead up to the ending of the song. So yeah, that's a little insane. Uh, I also got this guitar, more parallel guitars, I believe. Oh yeah, I've really crunched up my little sound now. But yeah, this sort of captures a lot of what I was doing. And the thought process for all of these is not as cerebral as I'm making it out to be. A lot of these things are very like impulsive and quick. And I recognize as I'm making these songs and building these the tracks out as to why I'm doing them. And so when I explain these things, I'm trying to let you know here that I have not very like thoughtful about how I make my music. It sort of comes from a place of I think this is cool, let's try it out. Oh, this is cool, I'm gonna do this because I think it's cool. There's no tangible reason yet for why I'm doing something when I'm making music. It's only after the fact that I can point to specifically why I'm doing that. Um, and it's a genuine, actual reason that I have done it. I just didn't, I wasn't fully cognizant of it at the time, but there was just a strange little voice in my ear telling me to do that. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm not schizophrenic. So yeah, this is my song. And feel free to listen to it in its entirety. It's everywhere. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, and stuff. And but yeah, thanks for nerding out with me. Thank you for giving me the space to nerd out. I'm in a little bit of a creative drought right now, so I'm sorry that there's no like official releases right now. But we're getting there. We're getting there. The weekly stuff is gonna keep coming. I'm still here. And yeah, if you want to collaborate, I met a lot of cool people online asking to collaborate. And yes, I would love to collaborate with you. Um, Please remind me sometimes because I am really bad at responding to things. And I'm sorry to anyone I've kind of left in the dust. That was an accident. Anyways, I'll see y'all around. Thank you so much for watching. And take care. Take care. Please take care.